You are judgment-free zone.
Are we?
No, no.
I feel like we judge each other pretty hard.
Yeah, but that's, that's how men behave.
All right,
It's
Paul
the,
Threat. We got some
yes.
real information. I even have it wired up for your picture. So
Mhm.
Microsoft screwed up during their Surface event when hilariously, I don't think we've talked about.
Can I guess what it is? Or do you want to just say it?
I'll just
Can I
say
guess?
they showed
Okay.
off Windows 12. I don't.
Oh, that's not what I was guessing.
Oh, what were you gonna
Because
guess?
you actually raised this issue before. So I went and rewatched it.
Mhm.
And got to have a certain internal metal to deal with that. But
Mhm.
anyway, there is a point very early on when Panos says, and if you stick around, we're going to have a little surprise. And at the end, we talked about this, how the thing ends and it just stops. And it's like, you're like, wait a minute, isn't there did they not show the special thing at the end, or did I just think
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't super special? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? You remember him saying
Yeah.
this. Okay.
At least I think
All
so.
right.
Like now, I got to make sure I'm actually remembering.
I
And
think
not
you
just...
tweeted about it. Like I think you did. Anyway.
Well, I was just surprised by the ending. Like I was absolutely shocked that it was like, but wait, there's more. And then there's just
this Windows 12 thing, was it literally in the Surface event or was it somewhere else?
it was right here.
Yeah, no, I see the image. I've seen the image, but I mean, did
Yeah,
it
pretty
actually? Okay, I think it might have been elsewhere at Ignite, is why I'm asking. I'm
Oh,
not
maybe it was
100%
elsewhere
sure.
at Ignite. I thought it was at the Surface event, but I mean that's the Surface Studio too. Either way,
Yep.
This is it's not even a concept. It's like a mock-up of like a vision
Yeah.
mock-up, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
where they're looking to take Windows V next, and
So
it's
I like it. I'm gonna say it's an evolution of what we have in Windows 11. You see the start of a Mac style toolbar or menu bar at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the awkward things about Windows 11 today is they center the taskbar, but you have the stuff jammed over on the right. So as much as I don't like the widgets thing, it actually kind of balances it visually.
Right.
But by moving that stuff up to the top, look, in Windows 13, we can shrink that floating taskbar down a little bit. We'll add an actual menu bar so you can see it, and then we'll just call it Mac OS whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's getting very close, right?
Yep.
Is there a mouse over effect on the icons where they get bigger?
Maybe they could put like file, like context menus.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
in the
what I'm
top,
saying. Yeah, right.
Dynamically
And
change
then
them.
modern apps will use that instead of taking up space in the window.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I'm with this. I think this looks good.
Now there's
I
a
don't have
couple
problem with
like
this.
interesting things. One of the annoying things, at least things that I should say potentially annoying, is by having that information, the system tray at the top. I mean, I don't think moving the system tray is nearly as big of a deal as moving the start menu. But your maximized windows are now going to be smaller because you can't cover that information up. Like you need that always there.
Unless you can, right? I mean, so apps do like there's a difference between full screen and maximized, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something they can adjust over time. I think it's semi-notable. No, it isn't. I was going to say the Teams. No, it's not notable at all. The Teams window doesn't have close buttons and stuff. That's because there's actually two windows there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Look, we'll see. We'll see how this evolves. I mean, there's no reason you couldn't maximize a window and have it take up that space. But I'll just throw this out. This idea popped into my head as recently as yesterday, and I don't remember the exact context of it. But the industry is moving away from 16:9 displays to 16:10, and in some cases 3:2. There's extra space now vertically.
That is true.
Doesn't mean we need to occupy it all the time, But if you think about how phones work, where in fact they're kind of doing it right there. You can see the desktop bleeds through like it's transparent. So you could almost imagine them doing that over maximized windows as well, right? So you don't have to take up that space. I mean, right now there are window controls that get in the way. I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I mean, just a concept. Anyway, I know everyone thinks I'm so freaking negative all the time, but I think that looks fine. I think it's, and
No, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it. It's a pretty big departure. I mean, it's an evolution of Windows 11. It's a departure for Windows itself, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
I don't. I've thought about this kind of stuff a lot, and I don't like the Mac approach with the menu bar at the top, honestly. Although if you use it today, I mean, I don't use the Mac a lot, but now you can hide that automatically and mouse over it to bring it down, just like you do with the dock if you want. And Apple several years ago moved to a system where you have like true full screen apps and use gestures to kind of move between them in the same way that we might move between virtual desktops today on Windows. Um, there are things you can do with the UI to make it effective. And give people it's Windows, so I think people
Yeah.
have choice. Maybe there'll be a solid thing you can put behind there if you want. You can auto hide it, like I said, or you could overlay it under, or I guess it would be over whenever maximize window is there. I don't know. And by the way, do we really think they did this by mistake? Really?
That's the big question.
Really? Right.
So part of me is like, I bet they did this just to get some like gut reaction and like sort of lay the groundwork.
This is how they
like,
get feedback now, Brad. The Insider program is so useless. They just throw up pictures and see if anyone notices.
Yeah.
Like the Xbox thing and Phil Spencer's.
Part of me, Paul, is like, this
it.
is the company who can't build a staging site that's pushed staging sites live before events, and like they.
You know what? Okay, so this is a little bit outside of what we're talking about, but I was getting ready this morning, and I was thinking about, there were people who were freaking out about my rant about service yesterday, and I'm like, I was sort of trying to imagine a future, because I really don't, as we discussed yesterday, I don't understand the point of this product line. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think there is a vision, right? A strategy that makes any sense. But imagine an alternate future where 2-4 years from now, Surface comes out with some innovative new form factor, and it succeeds. And PC makers copy it, or maybe it's a mobile device. It doesn't matter. Like it works. I was imagining, as I was thinking of this, like Panos or someone, whoever was in charge of it at the time, comes out and say, see, I told you we had a vision, and it's like, no, that's fake. Like you're ignoring the fact that you did a lot of stuff that failed and now something worked. And that's what you're saying is fake. This is the way my brain works. Anyway, if you apply this thinking to what we're seeing here, actually, you could make the case, because I think they're slapdashing Windows 11. I've made this case a lot. But you look at something like this and you're like, okay, wait a minute. They do have a vision, right? They might get there in some kind of stutter step fashion. It may not end up being exactly what we see there, but they've done what they did with Windows 11, which to me seems like they made it up on the fly. But you see a picture like this and you're like, okay, well, hold on a second. Maybe there's someone's at Microsoft who are really thinking about, okay, where does this go next? And it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or good or bad or whatever, but they're actually thinking about the future, which honestly, I'm not sure I would have given this credit like a day or two ago. So to me, there's nothing negative about it,
Yeah.
I hope they put it out on purpose. That would make me feel a little bit better about it. I don't know if we'll ever find that out, but I think it looks good. I like it. I mean, it is wasting more space. It's goofy. Taskbar floating. There's like pixels that are unused. It, like you put that stuff at the top, it's taking up space. But we have taller displays now. I don't.
Yeah, we'll see. The thing is this could be 18 months out. So,
and it's Microsoft. They'll half-ass it and not totally come up with the right thing. The thing, whatever. But look, no one made a promise, right? So we'll see what happens. By the way, in more concrete terms, something I think that needs to happen. This came up with Leo, who put his laptop into the beta channel of the Insider program and then set it to automatically unenroll when that version of Windows comes out. There is no that version of Windows. So if you are in the beta channel right now or the dev channel, you can't get out, right? Now, you can reset your machine, or not reset. You could download an ISO and do that. But the problem is you might and probably will lose all of the OEM customizations if there are, special deals or apps or whatever it is. Like you might not get any of that. That's kind of a problem. There's no official way to get an ARM ISO right now. I mean, I know they're sort of out there, technically, if you Google a little bit, but if you're on an ARM PC, God help you, and you put that into the Insider program, that's a one-way dead-end street. That's something I think Microsoft needs to figure out. They need to have a window where they allow people to shift out of whatever program they're in to get back on stable, much like we talked about with iOS, where what's the called?
The profiles. Yep.
Yeah, there's like a beta profile. You kind of delete that and it goes back to the stable profile, and you probably reinstall iOS, but everything's fine, right? I feel like we can do this with Windows, right? I mean, this is something they need to figure this out, because Windows 11.22 H2 just shipped, and if you're I don't believe anyone in the insider program, no matter what channel they're in, has shifted back to stable. I don't think. I mean, it could be wrong, but, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of a weird problem.
it is. It's a little Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Look at you with an Eagles reference.